All right, so we're at the Tour of Washington County, Cat 4-5, and uh, cruising up on, I think this is Entire. So we had just taken a left-hand turn, and I believe actually Entire is coming up here. This is Row. Um, so the first lap, it was kind of crazy. We take this left-hand turn. It's a pretty good little punchy climb. Got to put out some decent wattage here. And I forget this guy's name with District Taco. I think we talked afterwards. A couple nice guys from District Taco. So yeah, this is the you can call it the small climb on Itnire. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. There's 411. He's the guy that you'll find out in the crit, which I was unfortunately not able to record. But 411 is the guy in second place in GC before the crit. And so he was a marked guy in the crit. We didn't know him at this point in the race. I can't remember his name, but obviously a real good rider. Um, Looks like a pretty strong climber too. So we're cruising, and the weather was nice. It was perfect. This is my fourth time doing this race. I did it as a 3-4 2 years ago, and that was a mistake. Got blasted off the back, and I don't think I made it on any of the road race or the crit. So stayed with the 4-5 this year and last year. I think I got 23rd last year in GC and was able to hang on to the group. And then this year was pretty pleased, was able to get 13th in GC, and being 200 pounds, uh, I don't know, can't complain. I was weighing a little lighter back in April when Black Hills came about, and so I got 12th in Black Hills, and some of us know that's got a pretty challenging climb. It's not a long climb either, but yeah, it wears the legs out after 15 laps. So it was a little heavier this time. I weighed 193 then, and then so I've been off the trainer, not training so hard, putting in volume, and so I guess a little bit of weight because I'm still lean, but a little bit of weight came back. I'm not sure what it's due to, but um, anyway, so we're cruising along, and Velo Labs I think has four guys in. They're in that green kit there. District Taco, I just remember always they were at Giro de Copi, and this guy here was at Copi, but he told me he flatted like in the first mile. So I believe the stage race, brings out some quality players, and it's not easy. It's not an easy day. It's not an easy stage race. I think just the word stage race probably keeps some riders away. They don't want to take on the full weekend, but I think it really tests your mettle, and I'm all about testing myself, see where I'm at. I live in Salisbury, Maryland, and flatter than a pancake. So I like the hills. I like to challenge myself, and that's why I kind of started the channel, is to kind of document, push your limits and fly, right? So here we are. It was kind of weird. You might have seen a couple dudes with their hands up, given the crank it up sign, I guess. I took it as we're going to turn around. The the motos, the refs kind of said we were on the wrong turn. And I'm not sure if they were looking at the map from last year or what happened, but this was the correct course, but they said that we were on the wrong road. We took a wrong left-hand turn. Well, we crank it up, and so there's a little, mini break up ahead that just kind of got separation from everybody, kind of wondering what was going on. So we pick speeds back up. Um, I believe this is a Velo Labs guy here, and I don't know his name. Um, so yeah, we're kind of catching on to the front group. Tour Washington County has these great rolling hills. Just love the scenery. And yeah, the weather was good. Uh, Back on Entire after the climb, you get this right to left crosswind, and that put a hurting on the group um, on a couple of the laps. There's Alex right there, Hedrick, I believe it's pronounced, and strong rider. He was in one of the other videos at the uh, um, Armed Forces Classic where a guy wipes out in turn one. I get uh, I slide out into a barrier, and then he gets his head stuck in the barrier, and he totally forgot. He didn't even know that his head really got stuck because you're frantic getting yourself out of the trying to get back on your bike and get back in the race, and he didn't even realize that his head was kind of stuck in the barrier. So yeah, it's good to see him out here riding, and we talked a little bit after the race and the crit. So this left-hand turn, always you got to take it at keep your momentum going, and then you've got to pedal out of the turn and keep it going. So you don't want to coast through the turn too much. You've got to keep it rolling and try and keep a good speed coming out of that turn. And because everybody picks up their pace here. I believe it's a left to right cross here, and so everybody's going to start, especially later on in the later laps, we start hugging that right hand line. I believe this might be Old Forge Road that we're on. And then we'll end up taking a right turn up here on Beck. Last year, this on Beck, it was completely gravel. I think they tar and chip it, right? But it was mostly gravel. All right, so here's Josh, right? Josh is Strum is his last name. Josh is 6 strong, and we've done a good handful of races this year, similar in height. He's a little bit lighter than me. He's about 185, 187, but yeah, you kind of look, or at least I do. I look for guys that I can kind of, you know, mark and shelter and know, okay, yep, strong rider, tall rider, and so yeah, I've kind of been out there racing with Josh, and I knew he was unattached. So we kind of went ahead and talked a couple weeks before the race. Josh and Carl Bavard and Sam Friedman from FaZe. We didn't have any other teammates, so we went ahead and worked a little conglomerate and figured out let's have some fun and work some team tactics, even though we weren't a team. And so we're this is a good little punchy climb here too. And so yeah, Josh is got some sick power. Carl's a good climber, and then Sam is a good climber too with a decent kick for sprints. Um, and I'm just an older dude that has some decent power, trying to get stronger, and I enjoy racing. So unfortunately, the GoPro only lasts about 45 minutes in this race, and I'm working with GoPro to try and figure out why it didn't last a little bit longer. So unfortunately, I'm not going to capture the complete finish or the finish. Um, I'm going to get a few sections in, each one being 17 minutes, but it adds up to be around like 50 minutes or so. So I don't know all these guys, but I think Carl is up there, and I think that might be him right there, 406, I believe. And then Josh, there goes Sam on the left. Yep, 412, and he's in a University of Maryland kit, long sleeve skin suit. It was a little there was a little bit of a chill in the air in the morning, so long sleeve skin suit, perfect. It's got a great kit. And there's Alex right there again, 418. He goes off the front in a couple laps. I don't know. I hope I have it on footage or not, but he is strong rider. Goes off the front for a bit. No one really chases, and hops on, and we end up reeling him back in. But hats off to him for putting that strong effort in. This group of guys, 4.5s, felt pretty good being around them. There's some 4.5s that you feel a little sketchy around, and you can notice their cornering isn't that strong, or bike handling, riding in a tight group. You can tell with the ones that are comfortable with it. And so after this lap, I think we start maybe weeding a few of the guys out. And that's natural. Of course, I was the one that was being weeded out before. And now I'm able to hang in there for a good part of the race. Little left-hand bend here, and then we got this downhill, which is actually a lot of fun, and a sweeping right-hand turn, or just kind of a sweeping right. So I think this is Unger, and we cruise down here, and everybody picks up speed through here. It's kind of a false flat, and there's a guy that's always on this left-hand side. Real nice guy out there with like a cowbell or something, and every single year he's out there cheering us on. This guy coming up at the end of the driveway. One of these years it'd be kind of funny if I just stopped. There he is. I should just go back and ask him, like, hey, what's your name, man? Because he's a great spectator. So nice fast downhill here. And again, some people are comfortable with descending. I love descending. And of course, the 200 pounds gravity loves me on the other side. Not so much uphill. There's Carl there in front of me on the left. Red bike. He rides with BBC. So I think I tell this guy just on his left, right? So coming down, again, I feel comfortable in cornering. I want to get ahead of the group a little bit. Not sure how people feel, or I haven't noticed their high speed cornering yet. So I wanted to get out in front of the group. And of course, Velo Labs, I believe this is Velo Lab guy. I didn't want them to get away. And I looked over my shoulder a couple times to just check and see if there was possibly a split. There was a little bit of a gap, but not much. I'm not trying to crank it up on lap one by any means. And then you're going to feel this false flat, I believe, plus a little bit of a headwind. So I'm ready to, I'm not ready to push it. So I back off the gas, and then here these guys come. Not much of a counter, just a good push following through, because I'm slowing down. There's the bigger climb coming up. So I have no desire to press any wattage here. Carl's very active, stays up front a lot. So, and I think I need to stay up there too. I just end up burning some fuel, and I'd rather stay back a little bit. And then I try to weed my way through as the day goes on. Not sure if that's a good strategy or not. I I, I ended up 12th, I think, in the road race, and definitely the climbs wear on me. There's the last uphill climb to the high school. There's a couple good ones, so um, my weight, my power to weight ratio isn't the greatest as I'd like it to be, and um, so a couple guys really get stretched out coming into the final um, climbs, which again, unfortunately, I don't have on video, but the group gets stretched out. There goes Alex to the left-hand side. I don't think this is where he. Alex is a smart dude. You know, he wants to be up front on the climbs too, and then that way you kind of filter your way back as the climb goes on. You might end up to the tail end of the group, but at least you're on the tail end of the group and not way off the back. So that's a good strategy, and that's what I do later on too. I felt pretty good here. Didn't, a couple guys are kind of pushing it, definitely up the hill. Um, I didn't feel like they were going to get away from me, so I tried to just keep decent power. So 500 watts there. You try and stand a little bit, and then um, definitely seated, save some energy, and you crest over, and then a good downhill. So, of course, this is where I try and catch up. I know you guys like my black tape on my Garmin over there. It must have fallen, and I don't remember when that happened, but it's got a small hole um, in the Garmin, so that's why I patched it up.